Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Rich Latta here, back with another video. Hope everybody's doing well. Cheryl Miller recently did an interview with the All the Smoke podcast. Really good interview. Advise everybody to watch it. I do want to talk about the section where she was talking about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, their rivalry, the criticism around Caitlin Clark, and do a reaction video for you guys. I'll just pause it and give my thoughts, drop back into the interview. So if you guys haven't seen one of my reaction videos, that's kind of how I do it. So make sure you are liking this video, subscribe to the channel, don't miss anything we got going on, and I'm gonna pull it up right here.
You recently coached the WNBA All-Star game. You spent some time with Caitlin Clark.
Best coaching job ever.
Best coaching job
Best
ever.
coaching job.
Hey, I mean, it's real easy when all you got to do is say, hey, go ahead, run the offense, roll the ball out. I remember the WNBA All-Star game, being a great fan of how it all went down, and I would attribute some of that to Cheryl Miller for sure. She basically knew, who she had going out there. They wanted to send a message and beat Team USA, and the contrast of Cheryl Reeve and Cheryl Miller couldn't have been more stark. I enjoyed her energy on the sideline and the way she pumped up the team, and the players, responded.
Being around Caitlin Clark, how was the experience for her? She's such a big star. I mean, the sky's the limit for her. To be around her, just talk about the type of person she is and how much she loves the game.
I'm going to be honest because it needs to be said. I can relate to that young lady, and I felt for her. Mm-hmm. I know what it's like to be hated. Mm. I know what it's like to be a black woman and hated because of my skin color.
Yeah.
I can't imagine this young lady, I don't want to use hate, but despised. Mm-hmm. And
yeah, let's talk about it, man. So, last year was a roller coaster, to say the least. Cheryl Miller talks about receiving hate in various forms, one due to her skin color. Caitlin Clark, she terms it as being despised. There were so many people waiting for her to fall on her face, to not be as good as advertised, to play with that level of pressure and scrutiny, being 22 years old, kind of, exploding on the scene in the last couple years before that, but never really being accepted by the tastemakers of the particular sport, being, women's basketball. And that stretches all the way up to not just the media, but the league itself, and also like an entity like Team USA just had trouble getting with the program. And a lot of that stuff manifested itself in very strange ways. So let's keep it going with Cheryl.
And people just having, she brought some on herself a little bit because she's cocky for a good reason.
Mm-hmm.
We can't cap. We can't cap. Caitlin talks her talk. She definitely celebrates and it has fun out there. And I appreciate it because I love the spirit of the game.
Confident.
And I love that about her. But to watch the dynamics and the media, they had their narrative. Mm-hmm. And
they had their narrative. What do you guys think she's referring to there? Maybe she tells us in a second. I did watch the interview once. I don't remember exactly what she said. But, when we see with the narratives that were around her, they wanted to paint her as a certain type of person, off the court. They wanted to paint her as somebody on the court. There were a lot of various stories about her that turned out to kind of really look weird by the end of the year.
Was pleased and proud to see the narrative wasn't the truth.
Right.
And Angel and her got along so well. And watching them practice, and just get it. And Caitlin's like, just fly, and watching her pass. And
it's real easy to play basketball with somebody, that what Angel Reese did in the All-Star game. I remember her shell-shocking the entire front line of the Team USA team, and being somebody that ran the floor and just really caused havoc on the inside. If you run the floor with Caitlin Clark, you already know what that is. There's not a basketball player alive that Caitlin Clark wouldn't be able to figure it out with. And it was cool to see them, on the same side, at least on that one night.
I didn't know how talented she was and how well she sees the game in a 3D version, thinker, defensively a lot better than I thought and gave her credit for. So watching her and just...
That's something we don't hear often, praise for Caitlin Clark's defense. I think with better defenders surrounding her, like DeWanna Bonner, Natasha Howard, kind of, making it to where you can take more risks on the perimeter and actually, try to be more effective defensively, she's going to see a marked improvement on that side of the ball.
Spending a little time. And one thing, guys, that I've learned is to step back and let these kids be themselves. Look, I speak when I'm spoken to. I'm not sitting up there knocking on anybody's door, offering my advice because I don't know. I don't know what it's like to be social media, Instagram this. I don't know what it's like to be bombarded and have to be the breadwinner in the family and be a brand and be worried about what I do or say and everything else, or 24/7 being pulled in so many different directions and not knowing. I mean, throw in the fact that if I'm insecure, if I've got my own mental issues going on, who do I talk to? I don't regret being born when I was.
Right.
I'm in the right place at the right time. It's just been fascinating to watch these young ladies come up and now take the baton and take it to a different level.
She handled it in a graceful way as well. Some of your peers, they will recognize, her game, but they won't recognize her impact.
Woo! I think Steven Jackson hit it on the head right there, and I think that's where we come in as the fans, as the vloggers, as the people that have decided to kind of cover Caitlin Clark and by extension this sport, to where it's like, no, man, there's something that you guys are missing that you're not seeing as far as, the people that have been in charge of the gates. And her impact has been, of a nature to where it became nearly undeniable. It became crazy to think otherwise. Really, it was a strange situation because for me, it felt so obvious, like of, the skill, the talent, the translatability, the likability, and, seeing the star potential, you would think the platforms would embrace her more than they did.
Right.
How can you separate the two? It's kind of hard, right?
And I used, and Jax, you're absolutely right. And I was like, come on, you big dummies. Is she getting hyped? Yes. But she was in the backyard. She was putting in the same time, sometimes maybe more than you were.
Right.
I can't fault her for what she was given. But, look, as much as she was given, you can't tell me if that door would have swung the other way where she didn't live up to the hype.
Right.
Come on, folks are still waiting for her to fall.
Exactly.
Keeping it a stack. I don't hear any lies from Cheryl Miller. She's always called it, as it is. That was always kind of my thing about it too, was ultimately she still has to go out on the court. Regardless of, perceptions around star power, around all that, she has to get it done. And undeniably, she's going to get it done, on whatever level, kind of almost armed with whatever kind of team. The Fever last year was not a perfect team. As much as we all kind of fell in love with the squad, we kind of, saw those weaknesses get addressed in the offseason. And quite frankly, I'm very excited for the season upcoming, but it was not a perfect team. And she really held that thing together until, Kelsey Mitchell started coming along, until Leah Boston felt comfortable in the offense, until Lexi Hull emerged off the bench, until Chrissy Wallace got subbed out the game, until Chrissy Side said, hey, I'm just going to unleash one of the greatest offensive weapons in the WNBA, and let her do her thing without getting in the way. So it took a lot of things to fall into place, but now that we're there will be even less of an excuse for people to drag their feet, so to say.
Exactly.
Come on.
Yep.
So with that being said, you big dummies, you getting paid now.
Right.
Everybody now has an opportunity to pull up their chair and have a seat. So that's the only thing. And thank God I don't listen to, I don't follow social media, and I could really care less because I've been delivered from being a people pleaser and what you think about me.
Right. Me too.
But I will tell you one thing.
Welcome.
I'm just glad that these young ladies who are at the upper tier players, I hope and pray that they have a solid foundation, and they know guys who they are, because you know how vicious it is out there.
Do you see any correlation with Caitlin and Angel Reese, what they've done for the WNBA, as to what Magic and Bird did when they came in at the same time?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, you know, I'm sure that Larry and Irv used to laugh at, you know, white against black.
Yeah, yeah. And they loved each other.
East Coast, West Coast, loved each other, and respected one another, and understood that this rivalry, this tension, whatever, it was for the betterment of the game. But
I don't think the rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese right now is as kind of at each other's throats as, you know, some would say, at least between them, right? I can't speak for, you know, the fans and everything like that, but between them, it seems like it's starting kind of at a lower boiling point than Magic and Bird did. And ultimately, I think when their careers are either further along or even over, they'll kind of talk more about it in less restrictive terms, as far as not wanting to cause any chaos. And I think they will ultimately, you know, keep it a buck on either how they felt about each other. And, you know, this league, you know, who's to say they won't be teammates one day?
Never got caught up into it.
Yeah.
And those two are the foundation of the great stories and narratives coming out of the NCAA now, flooding the dub, which helps the dub.
Right.
So that's, you know, my main thing. I want to see how we as women, because again, I know they're going to get mad at me for saying this, we can be petty, we can be short-sighted.
No. No. This is my first time hearing this.
We can, but
there was a lot of pettiness shown last year, and I think you guys can fill up the comments with examples. Let me know, what was the pettiest moment that you saw kind of towards Caitlin Clark last year?
I'm just hoping that we can embrace one another, whether you're playing for the dub or you're playing in Unrivaled.
Which I love. You wish you could have got some of that, huh?
Oh, in the one-on-one, hey.
I know you was over there watching that, like.
Come on with them cross-eyed knees, Jerry. Come on, I got you. I'm just messing with you. You know, I got nothing but mad love for
Shout
you.
out Jewel Lloyd.
Yeah, and that whole league, what they've done and their mindset and the business aspect and the savviness,
Crazy
and
smart.
To get their, you know, to build that infrastructure financially, that was the first thought. And when I saw that, I said, oh, they got this. They got this is about to roll up. So. And I just hope, again, backtracking, that we as women can understand and embrace we all have a seat at the table, and it's for the betterment of the sport.
Right. Support.
So right there kind of wraps it up with the rising tide lifts all boats mentality. Shout out to All the Smoke, Cheryl Miller, for the interview. I would definitely check out the rest of it. Cheryl Miller's a straight shooter and ultimately not going to come out here and just say something ridiculous in defiance of the game, in defiance of our eyeballs. And she's always embraced Caitlin Clark, which is really cool. Seeing, you know, back to when she was in Iowa, and I thought the interview, this isn't the first time Cheryl Miller has talked about Caitlin. She talked about her a lot last summer, but I think to set this season off for Cheryl Miller to come out kind of as strongly as she did in this interview, it definitely like lets people know, like, we are not doing the stupidity anymore. Like, we are going to watch this as basketball fans. We are going to appreciate and embrace this once in a generation talent, this MVP candidate, and stop the foolishness. Essentially, I think this was a pure message from Cheryl Miller and you know, Steven Jackson, Matt Barnes for All the Smoke. And I think the more people that can kind of look at it as such, keep things in perspective, I think the better and more valuable conversation we will get around the game. So anyway, my name is Rich Latta. What did you guys think of what Cheryl Miller had to say? Let me know in the comment section. I'll holler at y'all next time. Peace. This is One Lifetime.